small portion of hundreds of actors who worked on In the Heights. It was a really long journey to get here, and it was many different plots. I mean, Janae Hernandez is the amazing actress who played Vanessa for many incarnations and brought Javi to us. Jill Furman and Kevin McCullum and Jeffrey Seller, and so there, we're sort of the starting lineup. But there's a lot of people who put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the show, and I'm grateful to all of them. Robin DeJesus is not here, Luis Salgado, like millions of people. So thank you for being here. I can't believe we're even talking about it tonight.
In fact, when we had the 5-year reunion that we did a concert up at the United Palace, we had 75 people who had played parts in the Heights throughout the country that joined for the ending number of In the Heights. So it was all of you and 75 other actors who came from all over the country who had been playing In the Heights in schools, in regional theaters. But one of the things that I want to ask all of you, I know that you, Lin-Manuel, there's at least 50 plus songs that never made it into the show, or that were in the show at different intervals through its development. Do you guys remember any of those songs? Do you miss any of those songs? Or at the end, the songs that made it were the right ones?
Your answer requires singing anything that
yes.
I was going to say, yeah.
Fire escape. This is the one place on earth where I feel safe. This is my corner. I arrived today after a year living 3,000 miles away. The best year of my life. But it's good to be home, where I know the faces I pass on the street. This is home, and I know the arc of the sun in the sky, where to hide from the heat. I know, where I dreamed about flying away. This was my view every day, and I better get used to it.
Anyone else remember any other song that you
I gotta put in a plug. Well, Lincoln had earlier amazing version of Fire Escape too, but I gotta put in a plug for Hear Me Out. Because because the day that we froze the show, we were working on the button of the song. I had like 2 minutes left, and we were trying to figure out the button of the song and how to close the scene, and we couldn't figure it out, and the song ended up getting cut, so there was a reason that we were stuck there. But then I went outside, and my water broke, and I had a baby that night. So,
she's 11 years old, and she's here!
So I feel the need to put in a plug for Hear Me Out.
Sing it. Sing it though. Yo, sing it, man.
Hear me out, I'm not finished, let me speak my mind. Hear me out, y'all, I'm just getting started, I won't fall behind. Cause life's too short to hang your head and leave important things unsaid. It's difficult to talk about, so hear me out. That's all.
That was my jam right there. That was my jam.
That song exists because Chris was like, where's my act 2 solo? Where's my act 2 solo? Where's my act 2 solo? For like 3 years. One of the few times that I know of, I'm sure there are way more, but one of the few times that I know I genuinely made Lynn really kind of mad at me is that I kept badgering him. I'm like, what's up with that act 2 solo? I would button every phone conversation that we had. I was like, what's up, player? Act 2. Talk to you later. Don't forget that solo.
You got one last time, right?
Yeah. We were even, and then you decided to put my picture on Twitter like that. Now he owes me dinner. It's the best. What else?
What else?
Jen,
Songs.
you got the longest memory because you have like the old
I do have
stuff.
all of them. I only have like snippets of them in my brain.
That's fine.
Yeah. Not. No. That's right. Andrea's not here. She's very sorry not to be here. Lincoln, you stole the show last night.
Yeah, you were dope at the open mic.
With this song I write, and right away I know something to try to say.
I'm in the middle of a game.
Peace.
Yeah, that was handball and hybrid sports.
Yes, that's right.
That's always my handball and hybrid sports. Wait. I haven't played this in 10 years, 13, 15 years. That's always dope.
I actually lived through all of this changes. And I kept going to rehearsals. But I like that song. Kiara and Lin-Manuel, the plot changed significantly since the In the Heights we saw at Wesleyan to the In the Heights we saw on Broadway. What was the discussions between the two of you and Tommy and others to sort of begin to change the plot as much as it did?
Well, the essence stayed the same. So a lot of the songs that were in that script that Lynn gave me remain. Abuela Claudia's song, 96,000 was in there. The opening was in there. So a lot of it remained. The Salon ladies had their song. I think we changed some of what the gossip was. But when I got it, the script was what I felt it was about on first reading. Here's why I loved it: is that it wasn't about one person. It was really about a community. And except for that, the plot kept kind of a little bit distracting away from that essence. There were some rent elements in it. There was a love triangle. And so I was just like, when we met at that diner, I was like, to me, this is a story about not one character or what happens with the love triangle or something like that. This is a story about what happens to a community as a group as they rise or fall together. And I think I wasn't telling him anything he didn't know. It was just like, so are we game for that? And that is how ultimately the character of Lincoln fell away. The character of these three businesses, like pitching it as three businesses, actually felt like a new focus, even though they were in there. But it's like, one of them is about to fold. One of them is moving location, So that story, that was from my point of view.
Emerged from what was already there. I'll never forget the first time we met at the Market Cafe, and I've never told you this story, but I think Tommy and I met two other potential book writers. And then when he met you, he was like, yeah, you really gotta meet her. And Jill Furman was like, yeah, you really gotta meet her. And we sat and we talked for like an hour and a half, I think, at the Market Cafe, and I remember I was so excited that you got the show. Like, you just got it. Like, what needed to happen so well that I faked goodbye to you. I hugged you, went down into the train station at 42nd Street, and then came up another stairway so I could call Tommy. I couldn't wait to get to 207th Street, which is like where I lived. I had to like get right back up. Tommy, this is it. We're done. We got it. Now we both live up there.
But I was fake goodbye. I was so honored. But really, it's like what I learned with this musical and with my writing since then is, you can kind of outline and plan, but the magic really happens in the organic discoveries when you're making a thing. Because in an outline, something will work, but what happens when you're writing it and something really magical starts tapping on your shoulder over here? And so like my favorite discoveries I remember in our writing process, one of my favorites is the finale. Because I don't even remember how it started, but I just remember being like, I would write, like, okay, Usnavi is on the stoop, and I write it out in dialogue, and he's not gonna leave, like, he's not gonna leave. Oh my God, I'm writing it out in dialogue, and then we're all meeting at Alex Lattimore's the next day to like work on the next Nina song, whatever that was at the time. But I was like, guys, I had this idea for the finale, and then like giving that to Lynn, and then the next time we met for some other reason, Lynn was like, I wrote the finale, and just these organic discoveries coming out of just handing that paper back and forth.
I remember The Hydrants Are Open came the morning of a workshop. I started writing at like 3 in the morning. I was like, we didn't have an ending for our workshop that we were going to show people. And so I wrote The Hydrants Are Open like that morning, that whole section. That morning. I think that Usnavi rap existed. Nina had a section in that. I think Igna Espinosa was doing that particular workshop as Nina. And yeah, I remember that morning really well because I was so out of it, but it was like, that was like you singing The Hydrants Are Open for the first time and the entire campaign happening.
Veronica.
With Veronica, yeah. Veronica was doing Daniela at that point.
Yeah.
But that's your process. That's your process though, because in the shows that I've been around you, you always write so well under pressure. Like, I gotta change this. I'm like, why? It's so good.
Oh my God.
Like, I remember...
He's just like his mother.
Yeah. But that was like, from being in it, and I remember when Hear Me Out got cut, I was like upset. I was like, why? You have to give me a reason. It's like I felt like people were breaking up. And I was like, this is so good. And one thing I remember from the transition, I was like, you guys have so many good scenes. There's so many good songs. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Why are we doing this? And then it like kind of comes to fruition. But it's like, man, I wish you guys really could have heard and seen the scenes that they wrote, because they were just as amazing. And but you always are writing under pressure, and I think I think that's how you write best sometimes.
Yeah, I'm a do your homework on the bus to school. But, you know, but that was also some of the most fun. Like, the last song to go in the show was the Piragua reprise for Eliseo. We did our first, like, run-through of the whole show on Broadway, and we were like, man, Act 2 needs, like, one break. Like, Abuela died, we're selling businesses, we need, like, a break, y'all. And then, I don't know, it was you or me or Alex or Tommy, I don't know who said, like, what if Piragua, and it happened on a 10-minute break in tech. It was like, okay, Alex, play it again. I mean, it was the fastest, that's what I wrote on a 10-minute break. That was the fastest, because we just knew what needed to happen by that point. Meanwhile, like, Champagne was forever. Champagne was like, I knew the original, the Vanessa Usnavi song off Broadway was beautiful, but it was sad. It was just really sad. It was as sad as everything else. It was a really heartfelt goodbye. That's why I liked it. But we needed a break. We needed like a little levity, and so I thought of, okay, he's got the champagne, but like he can't get it off the whole scene. He can't get the cap off the whole scene, and so we're in rehearsals. Everyone's learning the opening number, and I am walking around with a bottle of champagne, looking at it, and everyone's kind of like, is Lynn all right? I'm just talking to myself, like, whatever told me. It's like, oh, our writer and star has lost his mind. But, you know, that one, the first version of it is on YouTube, too.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lynn.
Let me, Javier talked about the authenticity in the Heights that sort of captured his role. Olga spoke about how difficult it was to sing Abuela Claudia, Calor every single night, and sort of the amount of emotional energy involved in that. Can you talk about other moments in songs that you interpreted where it really took an emotional toll in doing this?
Everything.
Then you could start.
Everything. For me, Breathe was such a personal song. song because the whole character I knew so well, being the first in my family to leave kind of out of my hometown and want to take them with me and to do better, to do more, and never, not always really making it, and having to tell them and that disappointment that I felt, singing that every night, and still, it's interesting going back and seeing it because I've grown up and changed, but I still have those same emotions of wanting to do better for my parents and my community, and putting that weight on myself. So to sing that every night, it was kind of like therapy for me a little bit, I think. So, yeah.
I was thinking of my song. I feel like Vanessa was just who I was during that time. Like, they just would see me come into rehearsal and they'd be like, that's what Vanessa would do, except for she'd be in heels and a short skirt. And so I come from like a bad home life, and I come from like being really poor, and so I always wanted something more and something bigger than what people told me I could have. And so Vanessa was like, I don't know what I need, but I know it's not this. So each night it was a little bit of that, like, am I good enough to like get out of here? And if I can get it together enough to be better than what you think I can be, will I actually get it in the end? Like, do I have the courage? Yeah.
Everything about Benny, every single thing about Benny's life, I was living. Every single thing. I'm from Southern Illinois. I come from a black daddy and a white mom, and I come to New York and I fall in love with a Puerto Rican girl. And nobody told me what to expect. I just got a whole bunch of, from Lynn, like constantly. And that learning process was hard. I don't speak the language, even now, I'm ashamed, but I don't. And everything that Benny was going through, and just the, being raised by a succession of mentors and father figures that I found in Kevin, and reliving the disappointment every single night, knowing that you didn't quite have the answer to what measuring up meant to that character, and the frustration that Benny felt that he was doing everything that he could to try to reach that bar, and maybe he found out how to do that, maybe he didn't, but along the way, he raised himself, he and his friends raised each other, which is kind of what Benny and Usnavi and Graffiti Pete and Sonny and all of the other characters that may go in the in the dispatch. Yeah, that was all happening in real time for me.
This is sort of maybe a little away from that, and energetically, but I was really I was moved and proud, and it was always the greatest height of experience, whether it was my ensemble character or Usnavi, but Carnaval in Act 2. And I'll just tell this one story of how it always felt every night. There's towards the end of the number, when I was in my ensemble track,
Domingo, the other dispatch guy.
the condom guy.
Lots of condoms, what kind?
But we were choreographed to come down stage, stage left, and hell if I can remember who was opposite me, but Doreen was in the center with a flag, and we were circling around her, and it was the end of the number, and it's building, and 2 rows in, 2 women are sitting there holding a flag and shaking it, and they were so proud, and that's still what still moves me, is that there's such dignity in that show, there's such pride in these characters and these people.
That's the thing about that song. The thing with Carnaval is that song is deceptive. I love that song so much because it starts as the party. It starts as the celebration. It starts as a way to escape the heat, the blackout, which reverberates painfully today, right? Considering everything that's happening on the island. But then you get about 2/3 away, and this is where like Alex Lackamore's work was so brilliant, you know, where Lynn's storytelling work through music is so brilliant because it got deep at that point. It wasn't just the party, like the party stayed, but it started getting like subterranean, like this is us. We are standing on this ground, we are saying who we are looking each other in the eye, we are looking the audience in the eye, like it got so deep, and that's the moment that song always moved me. Not the beginning when it was fun, it's like, yeah, you know, sing about Layla Lie, and it brings back all those memories, but like when it got really, and the coquito and all that, but really 2/3 the way in when it's like, oh, buckle your seatbelt, because this is about claiming a space with joy and with pride and with intensity and purpose. That was magical. That was magical.
Yeah, I'll never forget, that's my most vivid memory of our last night on Broadway, because Carnaval was a party, y'all. Everyone in the audience had flags, and it was the Alumni Society. It was like almost everyone who had been in the play was in the audience, and Carnaval was a party, and I think we all the Midway snuck up on us. And I remember Sean Taylor Corbett was playing Sonny at that point, and he had to be the one to break up the party, and he could barely get through it. Like he just could, and then I was like, I have to reclaim the party, and Sean's crying. And so that that whole section of lifting us back up, like I have never, and when we came in with that Pariba esa bandera, and 1,300 people went, hey! Every time. That was, I think I'm still looking to match that experience on stage.
Can I tell you a confession? The flags that were House Right, I bought them all. That was us. That was us. House Right.
Yeah.
Those flags. That was all the alumni.
Yeah. That was incredible.
Priscilla, you were gonna...
Well, I would just, I really enjoyed kicking ass during my... the Puerto Rican mama and saying, get your act together. You girl, stop complaining. Husband. I mean, it was just, you know, carrying my mother's flag. Every time I played everybody's mother. Everybody's mother, and I'm very proud of it. But the truth is that every time I play everybody's mother, I'm playing my mother. And it's my little secret homage to her, who never got to see me in any of all the Latin work that I've done. But I say she's up in heaven pulling the strings that allowed me to do it. But anyway, my mother was tough, and so every time I did that song, I got great joy as Priscilla kicking some ass, and got great joy as Priscilla, my mother's